Alright everyone, so in this episode we're going to replace the inner and outer tie rods of the Mini. I can feel a certain notchiness when making slow, sharp turns, so I suspect the issue to be the tie rods. You would only need two sorts of special tools to do this yourself. I'll put the links to these tools in the description below. Okay, so let's get this puppy in the air and remove the wheels. Let's do this! Alright, so we're going to start out by removing the old tie rod. To do so, we're first going to loosen this bolt with a 15 and a breaker bar. There we go. So then we're going to grab our tie rod fork and a hammer and separate this bad boy from the knuckle. There we go. Yeah, that's not as tight as it used to be.
That's what she said.
So next up we're going to remove this clip with a flat screwdriver. Next up is the clip over there. So now we would be able to slide this cover off, revealing the bolts to undo the tie rod. Alright, so for the purpose of this video, I'm going to cut away this rubber boot so that I can show you what we're doing. We're going to replace this anyway. Alright, so this is where our tool comes in handy. We're first going to slide it over the tie rod until we can clamp it over here. Then we're going to tighten these 14mm bolts. Alright, that's on there very tight. Alright, so with this small setup, we're now going to bust it loose. That was it, right? Hopefully. So now we're going to remove the tool again. There we go. And I believe we can now simply twist it out. Yeah, there we go. And there we go. That's your inner and outer tie rod end removed. Alright, so here's a little comparison between the old one and the new one. Yeah, I can't even move this. So that's going to feel a lot better. So now it's important to get the length of the new one as close as possible to the old one. As you can see, the outer tie rods are exactly the same length. So we would need to do some adjusting to the inner tie rods. First, however, we're going to put on the new boot and the new clamps. Alright, so we're first going to remove the inner tie rod. Then we're going to put on the new boot and the clip and the other clip. Put this nut back on and reconnect the inner and outer tie rod. And now let's get the length as close as possible to the old one. Okay, so that was a bit of a faff, but in the end, I think I got them pretty much perfect. I mainly focused on the length from here on out, as these parts are exactly the same length. It would of course be advisable to get an alignment after you've installed these, but for now this will probably do. So let's get the new one installed. First, however, we're going to put a bit of grease over here. Some PowerFlex grease. Check out the video. And then we're going to slide this back on. So now it can spin freely. Then we're going to install this clamp. Okay, there we go. So now we're going to screw in the whole tie rod assembly. Alright, so off camera I went ahead and installed our tool again, as you can see. So with our little breaker bar contraption, we're going to reinstall the tie rod. Yeah, that's not going anywhere. Alright, so after removing the tool, it's now time to slide this boot over the steering rack. Little bit of grease. Yeah, there we go. Ugh. Okay. Ow. All right. Yeah, that's solid. Good. That took some effort, but we managed to get it done, as always. So finally, we're going to reconnect the tie rod to the swivel bearing. Let's give it a quick clean. Now let's reconnect it. Screw on the new nut. And torque it down to 52 Newton meters. And then we're going to quickly pop on the wheels. Alright, and that's how you replace the tie rod on your Mini Cooper. Off camera I also did the other side, of course. I hope that helps, and please consider leaving a like and consider subscribing if you liked what you see. Thank you so much for watching, and see you next time! I can feel a certain notchiness when making slow, sharp turns, so I suspect the issue is related. 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 Jesus. So I suspect the tie rods. Oh, yeah. So I suspect the tie rods to be the issue. Oh, for f***'s sake, zeg. Sorry.